Today I'm with Julia Goldstein, who is the wife of Dean Harold Goldstein, who was the second dean of the College of Information. And since Harold can't be here, we're going to reminisce a little bit about what got him to that point and what got him to become the dean of the School of Library Science. It was at the time he was dean. What are some things that Harold did that kind of established his background?
Well, my memory goes back even before we were married. I remember Harold talking about being in the training class at Enoch Pratt Library in Baltimore, Maryland, where both of us were living at that time, but we were not friends at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to the University of Maryland and got his bachelor's degree. And I'm not sure if he worked at Enoch Pratt right after that, but I think he did, and Joe Wheeler was the librarian at Enoch Pratt at the time.
Right, famous Joe Wheeler.
And Harold always spoke very, very highly of Joe Wheeler. He felt that he helped his career tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Harold was drafted in 1942 at, I've forgotten where it was in Maryland.
You sure?
But he went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota first, and decided he would like to have been in the Air Force, but his eyesight was not good enough. So he went to the radar ground training course, and he went to MIT and he went to Harvard, and he got his officer's commission at Yale University. So he felt he did very well.
I would say so.
Training. And
he went to all the best places in the East.
He went to the best, right. And it was not in courses that he had at the University of Maryland. It was mainly engineering and math, and
sure.
He really had to struggle, but he made it.
He made it. That was
good.
I think that's important for students to know.
Yes.
That all of us, we may achieve at a certain level, but we have to go through that struggle along our lives. I had to go through the same thing. I was not a very good math student either. It was not one of my strong points.
And after he got his commission, we were married. Right after that, he came to Baltimore, and we were married at my parents' home. And from then on, we started traveling. We went to many different places, lived in a number during the wartime. He was always stationed in the United States. He didn't go overseas. Mm-hmm. And that led to his wanting to go overseas. When he graduated, he was able to use the Bill of Rights.
GI Bill.
GI Bill.
Right, the GI Bill.
And he went to Columbia University. Mm-hmm. And I went along with him, and we lived at Teachers College. We lived out at Chang's Village, first of all, in the barracks. Mm-hmm. There were a number of students living out there, and our son Bill was born at that time. And then we were able to move into Teachers College, into their accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
And when he graduated and got his EDD, the first assignment was in Duluth, Minnesota. It was a little chilly there, about 35 below in the winter and about 30 above in the summer in Duluth. But we stayed there 2 years, and then from there he had put in with the State Department for an assignment, and eventually we were assigned to Ceylon, which is off the coast of India.
Now called Sri Lanka.
Right, now called Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm. And those were 2 wonderful years. He was in charge of the library there. Uh-huh. And we were attached to the embassy, so we had some great advantages.
Right, you had
being attached and met some wonderful
servants people. And the and the car and all this kind of thing, the drivers and the kind of thing you have when you're in those kind of assignments.
And it was in from 1951 to 53 that we lived there. Yeah. Eisenhower came into power as president. And for some reason, it was decided that the people that were on their first assignments with the State Department were recalled home. So even though Harold was offered another assignment, we decided not to go. And we went back to Baltimore, and a dear friend who was Walter Stone was on a leave of absence from the University of Illinois, and Harold filled in for him for that year. And then we went to Davenport, Iowa, and Harold was librarian in Davenport. When a position opened up at the University of Illinois, Harold decided that would be to his advantage to be.
Well, he also had some experience there too with that.
The 1 year.
The 1 year, there. Sure.
I think that was from '59.
That
No,
makes...
it was early, the mid '50s. That 1 year, and then Davenport, Iowa, for several years, and back to the University of Illinois, where I got my undergraduate degree and master's in library science.
In library science.
Harold was one of my teachers during that time.
Oh my gosh.
I don't recommend it.
I taught my oldest son also when he was in library school, so I know what you're talking about.
First night in class, Harold said, "This is my wife and she's getting a B." I've always remembered that. I struggled to get a B.
Think that you were going to get a special grade because you were his wife.
No, I struggled, Tom. That was another time when it was very difficult.
Now, he was also president of the Iowa Library Association?
Yes,
right?
he was. When we lived in Davenport, he was, I think it was 1958 to 59.
Right.
Because we moved to Illinois permanently in 1960. And we lived there until 1967 when we came here. Harold was professor. And
he was promoted to professor.
Yes.
Before he came to Florida State.
Yes.
So that means he did very well.
Oh, he did.
At the University of Illinois.
He always cared about his students, and he was really admired by everyone.